Ah, this is easy, does it? Be another Simply Squeegees LLC project. I have a 1995 Dodge Dakota Sport pickup, and as you can see, I've already placed the vehicle, jacked the vehicle up, placed it on jack stands on both sides, and what we're going to be focusing on is replacing the transmission filtering gasket inside of the pan. Going to be replacing about 75% of the transmission fluid. I put 25% back in. You always do that just to get your vehicle acclimated with that, with the new transmission fluid. You don't want to shock it, and it may be pulling some metal shavings out that you righteously need to maintain your vehicle. So once we get everything started, I use the jack also, my jack just underneath the cross member there, just for safety. Don't need these jack stands going out and finding out the hard way. No sir. But I'll go ahead and get this started, and as I start pulling them loose, these are 10 mil socket bolts, and we'll take it off. And as you remember, we're going to take the back off. I think in my last video I accidentally said the front off, but we'll take the back off first because the front of it is over the exhaust pipe. And so the last bolt will either come off of this corner or that corner. More than likely it'll be this corner because that corner got the bend in the exhaust pipe. Okay, so we need to have clear access to it so that as this start pulling down, gravity will pull it down. Once these bolts are gone, then the fluid will start running down into our catch tray here, and most of it ought to be out by the time I drop the pan. All right, I've wiped it off just a little bit, so we'll get started in just a moment. All right, now here's the gist of what we'll need to pretty much pull this off. Need a 1/2 inch ratchet, 1/2 inch extension, and at some point we won't need the extension. We just use I use an impact socket because once I loosen them, it's a 10 mil. Not sure if you can see that real good. So it's a 10 mil. And we may end up, so it's going to be a 10 or a 13 mil. That's right. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and once we get them loose, then the impact socket makes it easier because it could take the pressure to go ahead and finish screwing them on off. So and then what we'll also use, we're still going to need the putty knife, scrape the old gasket off, and if it's real low, then we'll take the this is the blade that I use to get a little simple tape or stuff off of the windows when I do my Simply Squeegees window cleaning. And of course I have a small piece of sanding cloth and sandpaper just to get that completely off, because you don't want anything left around the edge of your pan, transmission pan, because it could perhaps cause a leak. And another thing I got just to hold the gasket in place is some high temp silicone. If we can pardon the junk inside of the vehicle. Doing the best I can here. But I got some of this high temp RTV red silicone gasket sealer maker, but I'm just going to use just a little thin layer just to hold the new gasket in place, because it's generally come folded inside, so we want it to stay in place while we put the bolts back in place. But all right, I'll check back with you. Let me grab my little don't want much in my eye safety glasses. I recommend you use that all the time. And now that you see I'm all set, let's get started. And as you can see, it turned out to be the 13 mil socket. I'm not sure if y'all can see that. 10 mil. It's a little bit smaller, just so you can see the difference there. And so you take the 13 mil. Most people at a shop, I have what's called a speed bar, and it be sitting in the basement. Well, you know me, I ain't got no basement. I got no speed bar, but notice how fast this helps us work out. So I'm gonna lean it up. Hopefully you guys can still see me working here. Yeah. And it's simple as loosening it up. We'll go to the next one. Just a little snug tight. And you see how easy it is to do that? So when you tighten it back up, you just want to snug it the same. You don't want a lot of pressure going in on that, because you'll strip them little itty bitty bolts out. Okay, and we want to loosen all these, and then we want to take all of these out. So like I said, you just take the impact socket. See, it's long enough and it's strong enough to fight that resistance. And we'll go ahead and unscrew that all the way. If you want to still use the socket, the extension, that's fine, it's no problem. But me, I'm very well just do it like this. Take it on off of there. Now I let it sit for about 30 minutes to almost an hour before I started, you know, because I had to go get the supplies. But they recommend that you let it cool down all the way. If you want to use some little rubber gloves, that's fine too. Some people do. I just use a little detergent, which ain't nothing but transmission. I use transmission fluid. It acts as a detergent. I used to flush my motor. I used to use transmission fluid to flush it, then run some fresh oil through it. You know, it cleans that little stuff off. So whatever you use. All right, so all 4 of those are out. I'm gonna keep doing that. Lay them down to the side on my little mattress. Oh, this thing's so comfortable. I can almost doze off, but I'm gonna stay awake just for you guys. So we go ahead and get this video done. And of course, I'll check back with you guys in just a second as I get it to start running down. Now, as you notice, that's in real time. It started dripping into my little catch pan here. You try and line up the best you can. If you ain't got a square one, then the round one just gotta work, and you know, you just kind of work with it. So I got these loose around here. I'm gonna take those off first on that side because it's harder to get to that, and we got my little tailpipe over there coming close to it. So I want this bolt, this accessible bolt, or the one right behind it. That'll be the best one to be last to get out. So all of my fluid will run out on this side. It'll get on that exhaust pipe. That's something you can't avoid. If you want to wrap it with a rag, that'll be fine, but it's still gonna soak the rag. So you might as well just let it be and just spray it off when you're done. All right, check back with y'all in just a second once we get it start pouring out. Now, before I take this one out right here, see how it's been running in? It's catching it, still running off around the back side right here. Before I take that one out, I'm gonna loosen the ones on the back. This is the easiest accessible for me, so this will be my last one because I have more control over the pan, and I'll be over here out of the way to allow for the fluid to run down that way. Always find the bolt. It don't have to always be the one all the way in the back, but I strongly recommend it be one close to the back or close to the opposite side of the main drip, which is right here, that you'll have easy access to the bolt so you won't have to fight with it and then allow that pan to have the wrong leverage and then it fall and you hurt yourself or burn yourself, whatever the case may be, and it'll have a huge mess. So do the best you can and then just use the sense you already have. But it's not really a wrong way. There's just a better way of doing these things. All right, check back with y'all in just a second once I got the pan hanging down. All right, now as you can see, we had a minor setback. If you notice in the back here, my socket can't get past this from either end. And we got 4 bolts back there that needs to come off. So, as the old saying go, when problems arise, improvise. Yeah, it was a mistake that I made, but you know, we all make mistakes. I mean, you show me a man alive on this earth today that isn't making mistakes. I guarantee you I can go to that same man, grab him by the wrist, and say, no wonder, this individual is dead. He can't make any more mistakes. But because we live, we all make mistakes. And sometimes we sadly mistaken about some things. And so this time I was sadly mistaken. So what I did though, we don't give up. It's a 13 mil. 13 mil and standard is 1/2 inch. And since these are just slightly snug bolts, 1/2 inch with a 1/4 inch ratchet ought to fit right inside of there to get to those bolts. And we just have to spin them as we go. See? Lefty loosey, righty tighty. There you go. See? And we just loosen it up. Okay? Now you see it on there. And you just get it on there and you do each one of them like that until they all are off. That's it. And then once these are off, 1, 2, 3 are off, we still have the one on that side that's going to come off last, and this pan will start coming on down. All right, so I'll get back with you guys in just a second. Minor snag, no problem. And if you don't have another 13 mil, a smaller 13 mil with a skinny extension, I didn't have my skinny extension. I don't know who got it. Dusty Rose may have it. But anyway, then or a 1/2 inch socket to get off in that tight spot, then just put all your bolts back in, put your transmission fluid in, go get another part, come on back. If it started dripping a little bit, no problem. It's worn out anyway. I saw it dripping. That's what made me know that I had to go ahead and replace it. So tighten it as snug as you can. Go get that little part, that little tool, come on back and get started. You'll be a lot faster that time anyway. You have a little more practice. All right, this is Easy Does It. I'll check back with you in just a second once I get those bolts off and we have the last one. As you can see, it then started coming down. That's the pan. Still full of fluid. That's inside of it. The gasket is behaving nicely, so it may be a lot easier to take off. Won't have to deal with a lot of fuss with it. Yeah. And we're just catching it as it drips inside of it. Remember, we're going to keep a portion of that. And it's going to be all right. Do have a wire that's kind of... Wire seems like the insulation is kind of broken on it a little bit. You see that in there? The orange, black, and white one? I had to check that out. Figure out what we got going on with. May have to get that replaced. All right. Probably my transmission cylinder or something like that in there. All right, but I'll let you see it as we get this other. Got one more bolt in the back. We got to take on out of there, and that back inside, and this have finished coming down. So I'll see y'all in just a second. I reckon I owe this to y'all. Let y'all see this come on down real time. As I loosen this, see, by hand. I'm loosening that one right there, you see it? I'm just twisting it down little by little. And as I do it, what you hear, I'm not making these noises with my mouth or anything. See? Not a ventriloquist. Can't do. Ask my wife. Can't really do too many things at one time. Notice that? Just easing on down. Now when it's almost out, and I'll probably stop here, and I'll let it keep running on out. Once it runs to almost empty, you see if I can't prop this up so you can follow. See, I gotta place my hand under here, so I can't be too hot when you do this. I'll place my hand under here to catch it, because I'm almost done screwing it out. And then when we bring it down, it's just gonna go ahead and lay off in it. See, that's the last bolt. See? Go ahead and wiggle it out there. Just take your time. No hurry, that's the last bolt. Set that to the side along with my ratchet. Now we just kind of twist this on out of there. Just a little bit. Bring it on down. And then run it right off into the catch pan. That's it. And that's going to drip for a while. That's fine, because it's still in the transfer case and all that. Show you how easy it is. Look, the gasket appeared to be coming right up off of there. So there'll be no sanding today. Not for Uncle Easy. All right. That's pretty much it. And then we got our 3 little bolts. You can either use a Allen key, or you can use a little 1/4 inch socket, whatever the case may be, to get these out of here. Well, it's a star key, so it's probably look like a T25, T20, T25, and we'll go ahead and get these on out of here and drop this filter and put the new one back in. All right, I'll see you guys in just a second. Thanks for your patience. All right, I'm back. As you see, I got my little handy little T25 here, and it's T20, sorry, but it's the same one that I use to take compartments loose on the inside of the vehicle, the dash and stuff like that. So it's the same little one. Got my little handle. They were just snug in here, so I loosened this one already. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one all the way out. And we're still gonna have some fluid in the top of this, so on top of this here. So we take them out. Got a little sleeve on it. There you go, little washer. I said sleeve. That boy don't make no sense. Told you, I ain't no mechanic. I'm just broke. I'm just broke. So all you thousandaires out there and hundredaires like myself, trying to make ends meet, just take your time, use what you got. If you got money to burn, send me a message in the link, and I'll go ahead and let you burn it up for the Lolo. All right, here we go. Let's get on back to work. So I'm just, notice, that's it. And my hand is greasy, but that's how easy it is to break these bolts here. See, that's it. I'm gonna break them, loosen them up. Again, we take the front with the one that's closest toward the drip. So there's more dripping on this side than on that front side. Go ahead, take that one to loose. Bring your pan on over. It's still catching inside of the pan. All right, you see that? That's it. We go ahead. We're gonna finish taking that loose and then take that last one out, and then I get back with you. Now, generally, it's only one way for it to go in here, okay? But notice how it look. Remember, we got our slanted edge right there. So you know, it's only one way you can put them in. But on some of them, because it don't have the insert, you beat and flipped it over. So you don't want to flip it over. You want to put it exactly like this, okay? So it won't block anything. This is exactly how it works, okay? So make sure you follow your slant. Look at everything that you got. See where your 3 bolts go. And you put it exactly back in, exactly the way you're taking this old one out, okay? That is clearly dirty and congested with not just old fluid, but metal shavings. It had to go. Transmission can't operate right. All right. So we wipe our tool off because we'll need it, and we don't need a lot of oil on our hands when we putting the fresh one back in. Okay. Wipe that off. Set it to the side. Easier to clean when you're done. All right. Be back with y'all in just a second. All right. I'm back. Food for thought. Always make sure you got the same exact one. Now this is a 857-707. Little simple car quest. Didn't cost me hardly anything. Now I'm gonna tell you how cheap this is. I got this, an oil filter, and because they had some clearance on some ATF +4 automatic Castro automatic transmission Dextron fluid, I got them all for everything. Trust me now when you hear me. Trust me. $30. That included tax. So, but these don't cost that much, and you generally, if you know what you got, make sure they match up. This is exactly like that one. The little filter hole goes to the top. That's how you remember that. Remember, that's how we took it off. And it won't be able to filter anything. This is over the top. That comes transmission fluid that comes in from the inside of your transmission through the pan, filters through here, and then goes back up. However it goes back up. Mystery to me. I don't build them. But you got that, and you also have 2 different transmission pan gaskets so that you can match up the exact kind of pan that you have. For the Dakota Sport and the Dakotas, they're 2 different ones. So if I know somebody with a regular Dakota or Ram, then they can have this one. You know, I always have another one. All right, then. It's nice they do that. I'll check back with y'all in just a second. Once I get this filter going back up. Well, you might as well watch me. No big deal. All right. Remember, we got it up. This is right there. We'll go ahead and, don't matter if this is dried off, but I like to reveal where my 3 holes are. 1, 2, 3. There's the little opening. That's where the transmission fluid comes through here to get cleaned. Put the last bolt in. The last bolt that we took out, put that one in just to get it started a little bit. While it's still loose, then we put the other one in. That's the middle one. All right, are you following? Hopefully y'all can still see this. And then we go ahead and add the first one that we took out again. And we're going to tighten it up in the order, in the reverse order. Now I cleaned that thing off. Keep up with your tools, you know. Nate be on me about that all the time. But, oh, that ain't what I said. Then I'm going to loosen that back up. This is the last one that we took out. So we put that one. Snug it. All right. See that? So then we put this one. It's tight. A little bit. Snug it. See? We don't want to strip it out. Just want to make sure it stays up there and press completely against the opening. It's tight. Snug it and check all of them. Yeah, can't just easily take them out. There you go. See? And you'll need a greasy hand. You don't need no dry towel. If you get tighter than that, you're going to break something. So now we got to clean out the transmission pan and get all this fluid out and all of this metal shavings off the magnet. See all that? That's metal shavings. That's shavings from your gears on your transmission. That's why we put some of this back, so we can put that metal shavings back in there so it can preserve the transmission a little bit longer. That's why it's best that you get them done. I think it's now every 15,000 miles or once a year. It used to be 20,000 when I was doing it in the 90s, but every 15,000 miles or once a year, whichever one comes first, unless you're doing a whole bunch of driving, inner city driving, then you probably want to catch it about 8 or 9 months and to maintain your good transmission fluid and preserve your gears. All right. So I'll check back with y'all in just a second once I get the pan cleaned out, and we're gonna be good. Use your little degreaser and just kind of scrub it out with a little brush or a toothbrush. You know, this one didn't have it where it was sticking to the edge, so we won't have to sand anything or scrape anything. So we good. So I'll come back to you when I have the pan cleaned out and I'm ready to go back up with the new one. All right. Again, problem arose for me. Couldn't find my degreaser. But good old Ajax, $1 trillion company, ultra strips grease. Ain't that grease? So I put some in here, put a little bit of water, got my little scrub brush for cleaning old grills and stuff out. Just scrub it around. If you know how to do dishes at home, you got a pot that had grease in it. You need to clean it out. You know what I'm saying? From deep frying some chicken or some French fries or something. And you just want to get it out. Got a little soap inside my little handle here. You know, a little slight scrub. You ain't got to do a lot of scrubbing because remember, it was easy for it to come out. So if you ain't got no degreaser, but you got something that can degrease, there you go. You know, simple as that. Now, it's just about clean. I just got started with it. I just put y'all on. You know, now if you don't know how to degrease a pot at the high, you need to updo your chores. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in my house know how to do dishes. Everybody in my mama house knew how to do dishes. So learn how to do you some dishes and then clean it like an old pot or like a frying pan that you just fried something in. That's it. And then you rinse it out and dry it out real good and then put the stuff back up. I'll come back to you when it get to that part.